friends, this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So, today I'm back with another video to give a review on another book. So, today I'm going to give review on three books. All three of them are romantic books. So, you can tell me in the comment section which one you like the most. So, before this, first let we have a view on these three books, then we can decide about it. The first one book which I'm going to give a review on is the Spice Pumpkin. Jeanie Alice had never killed a man before, but tonight might be the night. Desperate times and all, she clutched the baseball bat tighter in her fist and crept down the rickety back staircase. She didn't sleep in 3 nights, not since moving into the apartment above her aunt's cafe. Well, her cafe technically, Jeanie was officially the new owner of the Pumpkin Spice Café. Her aunt her aunt Dot's pride and joy until exactly 2 weeks ago, when the older woman announced she was retiring and taking off for the Caribbean for a few weeks to work on her tan. Apparently, Dot could think of no one better to take over her beloved cafe than her favorite. And only, as Jeanie pointed out, niece, an idea that now seemed completely absurd as Jeanie tipped Dot of the last step, prepared for battle. Every night she had heard strange noises, scritchy scratchy type noises, with the occasional clangy bangy type noise. At first she had tried to chalk it up to the wind, or maybe an animal scurrying through the back alley. She absolutely refused to let her mind take off down a path to the worst case scenario, like she usually did. She would not allow herself to imagine an escaped serial killer creeping up her back steps. That banking was definitely not an armed robber, here to take the meager change her aunt kept in the cash register. Jeanie was starting fresh. Jeanie was a new woman. The quaint seaside town of Dream Harbor and its inhabitants knew nothing about her, and she planned to take full advantage of that. A shuffling noise at the back door caught her attention. She would take full advantage of her new life. New Jeanie plan as soon as she figured out what was keeping her up at night. No one could live laid back, quaint, small town life with a murderer outside their back door. That was just logical. She chalked up on the bed and crossed the small hallway between the stairs and the door that led to the alley behind the cafe. Although alley wasn't quite the right word for it, Any conjured images of overflowing trash cans and scurrying rats. Alec conjured images of overflowing trash cans and scurrying rats. But Jeanie wasn't in Boston anymore. She was in Dream Harbor, which she was convinced someone must have actually dreamed up. It was far too idyllic to have sprung up naturally. No, the space behind the cafe and the other businesses on Main Street was more like its own little side street, with room for delivery trucks and tidy trash bins. She had even seen some of the other shop owners taking breaks and chit-chatting back there during the day. Not that she had talked to anyone yet. She wasn't quite ready for that, for being the new kid. He shrugged, wishing he had tossed his stupid marshmallow topped drink before this encounter. Shopping. What are you doing here? I figured you had been off at Harvard or something like that. Annie scowled. This isn't some teen movie where everyone goes to an Ivy League school at the end. My family has 6 kids. Do you really think they can afford for me to go to Harvard? She rolled her eyes like he was an idiot. One of the many habits that unsurprisingly made him not like her very much. My mistake, he ground out. I just wasn't expected to see you running a bake sale after all that extra homework you did in econ. Annie slapped her hands onto the table and leaned forward. A slight flush had worked its way up her pale cheeks in a way Mac chose not to find appealing. This bake sale is the start of my new business venture. I'm taking business classes at the community college and selling cookies from an online shop for now. But give it a few years and you will see I will be a very successful small business owner. He didn't doubt that for a second, but he wasn't about to admit it. Wow, I guess you have it all figured out. I do actually, she said with a smug smile. And what about you? Just hanging around Dream Harbor letting your mom cook and clean for you? He scoffed as if that was absurd, even though it was 100% true. Actually, I'm out of here after the holidays. Really? Yup. Heading cross country. The half-assed plan he had been brewing in his head was cemented as soon as he spoke the words out loud. Heading to what? It's about the journey, not the destination. he said, and instantly regretted how douchey that sounded. Annie raised her eyebrows, but surprisingly didn't call him out on that bullshit answer. So, are you going to buy some cookies or what? Oh, yeah, I will take some of the gingerbread ones. Annie gave him a genuine smile, and for a second, he felt like he couldn't breathe. Those are my specialty, she said, handing him the small bag. Try one. She waited while he opened the package and took out a small gingerbread man with icing features and buttons. Mac bit his head off. It was quite possibly the best cookie he had ever had. Spicy and sweet, with just the right amount of crunch. Damn, Annie, this is delicious. She beamed, and he nearly choked on his cookie. For 13 years, she had looked at him like he was at best an inconvenience and at worst an enemy, and now she was smiling at him. It was disorienting, to say the least, which was probably why he said what he said next. We should hang out later. Annie's smile dropped and her brow furrowed in confusion. We have never hung out. He shrugged, trying to feign casualness, even though now his heart was thumping at an alarming rate, as though he cared if Annie wanted to hang out with him. I know, but no one's home for the holiday break yet. We might as well keep each other company, right? God. He hoped that didn't sound as desperate as he suddenly left. Annie's lips twisted to the side as she considered his offer. Well, Logan is on that cruise with his grandparents, and Hazel's not back from her semester studying abroad yet. So I guess we could do something. She seemed as confused by his suggestion as he was, but he couldn't turn back now. Great, let's meet at the dinner at 8. A small frown played on Annie's lips even as she agreed. Okay, yeah, the dinner at 8. Perfect. See you then, Annabella. Don't call me that, she yelled after him as he walked away. He waved over his shoulder and strode off before she could take back her agreement to see him later, because suddenly he was very eager to hang out with the girl he had always thought he didn't really like. The second book on which I'm going to give a review on is the Runaway Wives. Has Nige mentioned your surprise birthday holiday yet? Babs asked, taking a big bite out of a chocolate eclair. Cream oozed from the sides onto her fingers and she licked it off slowly. Dee shook her head as she took the froth of her cappuccino with her spoon and put it in her mouth. He hasn't said a dicky bird. I wouldn't have known anything about if I hadn't seen the booking email come through on his phone. Nigel had been in the shower on Sunday, having just returned from a game of golf, leaving his phone on the kitchen table. When the email notification had pinged, as the screen lit up, T had automatically glanced at it, surprised to see the subject line confirmation of booking. She had opened the email and quickly read it, amazed and delighted to crave Portugal for this weekend. It was her 60th birthday on Saturday, so he must have booked it as a surprise present for her. Goodness knows she had dropped enough hints about wanting to go abroad for a holiday this year and was delighted that he had taken notice. It was uncharacteristically thoughtful of him. Usually he took her out for a nice dinner or brought her a bottle of perfume, courtesy of his PA. She was sure, but this year he had really pushed out the boat. Well, 60 was a big birthday, wasn't it? She heard Nigel coming down the stairs so quickly, marked the email as unread, and put the phone back on the table. She had excitedly waited all week for him to mention it. But he hadn't said a word. He must be planning on keeping it a surprise until tomorrow morning, her actual birthday, before whisking her away immediately. Men, they are hopeless, aren't they? I mean, it's a lovely surprise, but surely he must realize that you need to buy new clothes to take. It's lucky you saw the email, so you get some, and that you know his password. Babs finished the last bite of his eclair and picked up the saviti to wipe her mouth, leaving a smudge of her red lipstick was the first thing she put on when she got up. She said it gave her confidence to face the day. Confidence was something Dee didn't think Bab was lacking in. She was always unapologetically herself, with a louder than life personality. Chin length blonde hair, and big hearted. She always wore colorful clothes too. Today she was wearing coral cropped trousers with a brightly patterned top and white sandals. Dee preferred a more elegant, toned down look and knew that with her short, highlighted hair, crisp white cotton slacks, and tailored blue and white shirt, she and Babs made an odd couple. Nagel had told her so often enough he disapproved of Barbara. He refused to call her Babs because he thought she was too loud and brash. Although he got on quite well with her husband, Joe, when they occasionally went out as a foursome, it was the only subject which Dee ignored him. And with Nigel walking away so often, she didn't know what she had have done without Babs to share a coffee or phone chat with over the years. She had other she had other friends of course, but not close friends. Babs was the only one she could confide in, and she knew Babs felt the same way. Dee looked down at the pile of carrier bags under the table by her chair, containing a couple of tankins, three summer dresses, new sandals, and a matching handbag. She had plenty of clothes, her wardrobe were busting actually, but this was a special occasion and Nigel would expect her to be suitably dressed up. Nigel always uses the same password and adds a couple of letters on the end related to the subject. So in the case of his phone, he adds an N and P for Nigel's phone. I bet he thinks you aren't clever enough to remember that. Babs said. More than likely, anyway, I will put these in my suitcase ready. He's probably planning on telling me in the morning and expecting me to pack in a few minutes. I was. It's really romantic jetting off on your actual birthday. Bab sounded envious. I didn't think Nagy had it in him. I was surprised too, Dee admitted. Nigel didn't usually have a romantic bone in his body. He was a practical, unsentimental man. But then he was a solicitor, so it was part of the job criteria, she guessed. I don't know come over him. A whole week in a villa in the sun. I envy you, Bab said. It's been ages since we went away. When it was my 60th, a couple of months ago, I didn't even get a weekend away. Although we did have a lovely family party, she added. Molly and Lennon both came home for that. Bab and Geoff's daughter Molly was cabin crew with Emirates and traveled to lots of exotic locations, and their sons. And the son, Lennon, worked in London, combining acting with part-time bar work at a trendy nightclub. Babs was very proud of them both. Dee still couldn't believe that Nigel had booked such a wonderful surprise for her. They had been married for 35 years now. For the 35 years now. However, since their children, Annabelle and Hug, had grown up and nest, flown the nest, Nigel spent most of his weekends golfing with his mates and had even gone on a couple of golfing holidays, leaving Dee home alone. Babs had told her she could she should book herself holidays away too, but Dee didn't fancy going away alone. Besides, she actually liked a few days to herself when she could do what she wanted without Nigel's constant critical comments. He had high standards and liked everything to be just so. Dee liked a clean and tidy home herself, but she didn't feel the need to have the furniture claiming so much you could see your face in it, like her husband did. Nigel could be hard work, and they had a few rough patches when the children were younger, but they had come through it. Maybe now he was older, he was starting to appreciate her more. Or was it guilt? Was he? You don't owe me anything. I'm so grateful how you have all made me welcome and part of the community. Glenn nodded. Hey, you are one of us now. They carried on walking down the beach, and Dee and Lockie walked over to the new development. So many of the apartments were occupied now, although there were still some to be completed. In a couple of years, it would all be open. New shops, restaurants, leisure facilities, pubs, and Joe had visited again a few weeks ago, and they had been amazed at how the new development was progressing. To think you can have lived in one of those posh apartments, Jove had said as he gazed at them. She was glad she had turned it down, though. She was happy in Primrose Cottage, happier than she ever thought she could be. She was happy with Kenny too. He was a gentle soul who gave her love but respected her need for time alone, as she respected his. He was working at the studio this morning, finishing a painting he had been commissioned to do. They spent a lot of time together, but they had both agreed to keep their own homes, their own personal space, for now anyway. Babs and Joe were currently in Wales. They had taken to spending whole weeks away in their camper van, and they both seemed happier than they had ever been. She was so pleased for them. Annabel had let it out of the bag that Nigel was going to remarry to the woman he had been cheating on her with in Portugal. Apparently, he had been having an affair with her for some time. That's why he had cooperated with the divorce and settled so quickly. Dee wasn't bothered. She felt sorry for the woman, or maybe Nigel would treat her better than he did Dee. Maybe he really did love her. Dad wants Helly to be bridesmaid, Mom. Annabel had said, worried that her mother would be upset. Of course he does, dear. She's his granddaughter. I don't mind. I have everything I want here. The last one book on which I'm going to give a review on is the Vows We Never Made. It's another love story. So let's see what we have in this book. All or nothing. Hattie. If this was another day, it would be perfect weather for lunch. On any other day, I'd eat up the clear blue sky, the hint of fresh summer breeze, the chance to wear shorts and a tank top for the first time all year. I even shaved my legs for the occasion and picked out my cutest white shorts. But today is so not the time to kick back and enjoy the good thing in life. I step out of the Uber and stretch my legs, rolling my shoulders as the sun streams down the cobblestone sidewalk. Girls bounce by in airy sundresses, and there is a pop up churro stand on the corner. The place must be killing it because who doesn't love a churro on sunny day in Portland? My stomach growls. I am about to have my usual iced caramel macchiato and I don't need this. The extra calorie bomb. Still, on a day like this, where it's so scenic, the universe demands I enjoy something. A usual meeting place is one of my favorites, an adorable cafe bookstore called Book Club. Its old brick storefront with the forest green paint and the smell of potent coffee and pages instantly makes me smile. Like I said, any other time this would be wonderful. But on this day, I'm taking a deep breath and steeling my nerves as I step inside the cool building, pushing my sunglasses up over my eyes. While I patiently wait for my order, I pull out my phone again, unable to stay away from the local news. Leonidas Blackthorn's death is everywhere. I think half of me is in shock. Like people forgot that one of our most wealthy and powerful men was actually mortal. The old lighthouse will live on, of course, but I'm not sure how we will manage without the money he poured into the art scene here. Nobody loved Maine's culture and natural beauty like he did, and everybody loved his generosity back. Me, though. In the aftermath, I'm surprised no one passes out. We lay there, boneless and panting. I'm surprised when he gets up. Where are you going? I ask sleepily. Like I said, I have something for you. I was going to get it before, but you distracted me. He flashes a fake green that tells me that how much he minded. Stay there. No worries. A fire couldn't move me off this bed right now. In under a minute, he's back, cradling something that's looked like a beautiful old oversized hardcover book. An old leather edition, maybe. I sit up with my heart in my throat. What's this? Late wedding present. Don't know if it's tradition or whatever to do it like this. If it isn't, it should be, he tells me. Wow, it's a masterpiece. I smooth my fingers across the gold embossed leather before I look up sheepishly. Um, I didn't get you anything. This is for us both. Pages. He nudges me. He nudges me. The mattress sinking as he sits beside me. Open it. Slowly I open it to reveal empty white pages just waiting to be filled. A photo album, a really awesome one. Not a true book after all, but just as good. It only takes a second to realize it's not all blank. I missed something at the front. There on the first page, Leonidas Blackthorn grins back. It's an old photo in black and white. Leonidas as a young man with a thick mane of hair. As I flip through, there are a few more pictures tracking his life, his wedding, Ethan's grandmother. About a third of the way in, the pictures of Leo stop with the final photo of a time I recognize. I remember when it was taken. Margaret and I are on one side, and Ethan on the other. The old man has his arms around all of us, with a sly smile. Margaret and I were about 13 in the picture, and Ethan a few years older. He looks just like I remember, devastatingly handsome, cocky, a permanent blue storm in his eyes. He was giving the camera one of his real smiles that day, a sweet rarity. On the next page, there is a photo from our wedding, Ethan and me along the lake shore, happy and holding hands. The water is on fire with the sunset and fairy leaves behind us. He is looking at me as I laugh up at him. I had the I had the photographer send that one early. He explains, I am tearing up. The first set of photos, that's the prologue. This is the first chapter of our story. I don't say anything, I'm just shaking. Hattie, he whispers. Oh my god, you are a romantic after all. He snorts loudly. Let's not get too carried away. He shakes his head, but he's smiling. Iris must hear the commotion. He comes plodding in a second later, putting his head between us for pets. The rest of the photo album looks blank. I flipped through it just in case, but there is nothing but white space. I haven't wanted to write for a while. I figure I'm better off selling books than writing them. But now I whisper, smiling through the sweetest heartbreak, let's finish what Leonidas started. Family photo album, he says, spreading his palm suggestively over my lower belly. Wherever a story goes, I'm here to help the words flow until the end. Together, pages. Together. I agree, tracing our photo. Together and totally in love. I think maybe you are not used to being treated right, Jeanie. His words landed hard. Damn. What a truly delightful escape the Pumpkin Spice Café by Laurie Gilmore was. I was searching for something light, a real palate cleanser after some heavier reads, and this book delivered in spades. I felt like settling down with a comforting cup of tea on a rainy afternoon. Utterly charming and exactly what I needed. I particularly enjoyed the book, the way the book balanced the sweetness, the touch of real world challenges. It wasn't just fluffy, there was a genuine undercurrent of emotion and personal growth that resonated with me. The supporting characters also added so much to the story, making Dream Harbor feel like a place populated by genuinely good people you had want to get to know. This book is the literary equivalent of a warm hug, comforting, endearing, and leaving you with a wonderfully contented feeling. cozy, inspiring read of new love and fresh opportunities. Best-selling author Mary Please. We are leaving and there's nothing either of you can do about it. But the surprise holiday Dee thinks her husband has booked her 60th birthday weekend turns out to be yet another solo golfing break. It's the last straw. Meanwhile, her best friend Babs' other half has decided to move to Spain and is acting like he doesn't need to consult anyone, not even Babs. Well, if their husbands think they can do what they want, so can their wives. So, with that thought, the two best friends leap into Dee's trusty car and head for the seaside, and an adventure they will never forget. Back home, their furious husbands want them to return immediately, but as they begin to enjoy their newfound freedom, either of the runaway wives won't ever want to come back home again. An absolutely hilarious, uplifting, escapist story, perfect for fans of Mary Please. A Sunshine Bookworm's life explores when her best friend's atrocious brother proposes in the steamy and electrifying romance by Wall Street Journal Nicholas Snow. Big dreams come with bigger catches. Mind Cape wrapped in a merciless suit, sweet Ethan Blackthorne. Billionaire tyrant, my bestie's older brother, bane of my childhood and jackwagon of the century. Now he's my flipping fiancé, all thanks to a brutal 6-month marriage clause in his grandfather's will. He promised me everything to play along, and I'm popping payout, the bookstore of my dreams, plus a nice glittery Cinderella break from reality. But that's not what steals my breath away. He's taking this too seriously. He's kissing me like it means something. He's ready to declare war when other men dare look at me. I don't understand. The conceited, incurable monster used to make me cry, now lives for my smiles and is making this so hard. Between his secrets and obsession, do I even stand a chance? How do I forget the vows we never made if they start feeling second? So this is all we have from all the three of these books. I hope you guys like three of the stories, the romantic ones, but you can also tell me which one you like the most. So I'll be come back with another video to give a review on other books. If you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. And if you wanted to suggest any other book, you can tell me in the comment section. And you can also buy all these best-selling books from our Amazon page, which link is given below. So I'll be back till then. Just take care and goodbye.